Hello there, and welcome to episode 17 of the Average Pundits podcast, your home for all things Premier League. Now, we have a very interesting topic today on marketable footballers, but before now, let's introduce everyone. I'm Reece, and as always, I'm joined by the Brodelicious Joseph Brody.
Oh, well, you dropped the nickname.
Yeah, well,
mate.
I might just start easing in all of your nicknames soon.
All of them. the street nicknames.
What they know as you in the hood.
In the hood.
In the hood, gone wrong. Clickbait.
How you doing, mate?
Good. Right, so it's been an interesting week of football. There's a lot to do.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on ever since Wednesday, predicting with all the games. So shall we get cracking with the knacking?
Yeah, let's go for it, mate.
Right then. So the first game, one that you got spot on, predicted completely correctly, was West Ham Liverpool 2-0 to the Red Men.
Yeah, nothing too exciting here. Liverpool just came in, did their job, off they went.
Yeah, I mean, now with a score that's going to come up later on, Liverpool move up 22 points.
Yeah.
Ahead at the
done.
top of the table. Yeah.
It's been done for a long time, and now it's done.
We have to lose 7 games now
To bottle it. And then that would still require Man City or Leicester or whoever winning all their games, wouldn't it?
Exactly. And that I don't see that happening, to be honest. I think Man City are going to slip up again. So Liverpool have got this in the bag, and I can finally say I've seen my team win the Premier League.
Yeah, crazy.
The next game, I believe, is the 2-2 with Leicester and Chelsea.
That was a good game. It's weird for Chelsea. 2 goals from Rudiger.
I know, it was on his 100th. Was it his 100th appearance?
Has he already had 100 appearances for Chelsea?
Think it was either 100. It was a landmark appearance for Rudiger, because I saw it on Twitter and it was like, on his something appearance, he scored 2. He scored a double.
Oh, okay, that's quite mad.
Rudiger scoring a double, and it seemed like the defenders like to get in on the action, because Ben Chilwell scored one for Leicester, and then Harvey Barnes, who, he isn't a defender, but Rudiger, I mean, he had a good game offensively, but obviously you concede 2 goals and you don't necessarily have the best game defensively.
I mean, in terms, it was pretty much 50-50 really for that possession. It was kind of like back and forth most of the game, but I mean, all in all, I feel like maybe Leicester may have had a slight edge. I think I might have predicted Leicester to win now, or I'm not too sure what I said, but I think I might have even said a draw.
I think I I think I said 2-2. I think I got that one spot on. Lovely.
Either way, an interesting little game.
I think another drawing point from that game was Jamie Vardy.
Yeah.
He picked up a knock, didn't he?
That's a bit of a worry.
Yeah. And also I believe this brings into the question also Tammy Abraham in the same game had to come off as well.
Yeah.
They're expected back within 8 weeks. England's strikers going into the Euros is quite, we're running scarce. We've got 4 players.
The top 3 are now injured.
Yeah. The top 4? So we've got Harry Kane, we've got Rashford, Jamie Vardy, and Tammy Abraham.
Yeah, I don't know, count that. Yeah, of course. Yeah, 4.
All 4 of them are injured, so maybe it's the time for Danny Ings to step up or something.
It's a Glenn Murray masterclass incoming. But yeah, I mean, Ings is at the forefront.
Firing on all cylinders.
Honestly, I would not. I might get slated for saying this, but I wouldn't even be surprised if it's this bad going into the Euros if Greenwood gets called up.
Yeah, I mean,
it could happen.
Mate, you know what? I don't have any quarrels with Mason Greenwood. He's fine as a talent. He hasn't scored against us, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Next game.
Yeah, next game. Another draw, but not the most exciting. Newcastle Norwich.
Yeah, it's a very scrappy game on both halves. Martin Dubravka also showing his class in this game. He's a quality keeper.
He is good, isn't he?
He's going to get snapped up by some team in the summer.
No
doubt.
I think he'll end up leaving the Prem, but I think he's far. This season he's been phenomenal. He's been really good.
I think that the way he's going. I mean, he's 31.
Yeah.
By the end of the season, I reckon he'll be what? I think he's just turned 31.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna remain. He's not gonna be a top 4 goalkeeper. Let's face it.
No.
He's too old for that. But he could be a sleeper goalkeeper.
Yeah,
Pepe Reina peaked quite later on.
Yeah.
He was 27 when he was playing for Liverpool.
Yeah, goalkeepers have a massive longevity in their career, don't they?
I mean, Edwin van der Sar was 40 40?
Yeah,
Around that. Brad Friedel. They all went into their 40s. So maybe Dubravka still has, 5 years left.
Tell you what about Sheffield Crystal Palace?
I was quite surprised by this.
I'm struggling to remember what I actually predicted for this. I think I may have predicted Crystal Palace to have this, but
I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't have blamed you because Crystal Palace are on a roll.
yeah, it was that own goal, wasn't it?
You predicted Crystal Palace to win 1-0. Sheffield United, actually, I predicted to win 2-1. But
wow.
So,
well, I mean, at the moment, again, Sheffield. We've said before that what an inclusion this year to the Prem.
Yeah.
This game was again a bit of a scrappy game, but at the same time, I mean, not the most thrilling, but still a good win for them.
It just proves that counter-attacking football is very much the Premier League style and how to win. Sheffield United had way less possession, and they were able to make it count. They were able to make their shots count. They had 13 and 3 on target.
Yeah.
One of them creeped in, but that was the fault of the goalkeeper, Guatiara. Guatia, something like
Guaita, isn't it?
I am not good at pronouncing names.
Guatiara.
Guatiara.
I think it's
the name of a
Guaita.
fruit. It's the name
Guaita.
Guatiara is the name of a fruit.
Is it?
No. Why would you believe me?
West Ham Brighton.
West Ham and Brighton.
A weird game.
It was mental, to say the least. I wish I'd have watched this live.
Yeah.
But no. Issa Diop, Robert Snodgrass getting the brace. Ogbonna, West Ham scored 4 of the goals.
Yeah.
Ogbonna getting an own goal, and Pascal Gross and big England call-up Glenn Murray getting on the goal sheet. Yeah, very backwards and forwards. West Ham have not had the best time with not conceding too many goals. They conceded 5 in their last games.
West Ham are just do you reckon they're going down? Possibly.
West Ham are. Yeah, they could do. They have a very strong chance of going down at this point. But David Moyes has picked it out of his rear end before, like with Sunderland. Yeah. So I think David Moyes is a manager that just can't get relegated. Like unlike a Pardew or a Steve Bruce, they can get relegated.
Yeah.
Whereas David Moyes, I think he's
that kind of manager, and
he's a Premier League manager. He's there to stay.
Bournemouth's 2-1 win against Aston Villa.
I don't think I saw this one coming.
It was a weird one. A 10-man Bournemouth.
Yeah, Jefferson Lerma getting sent off. It was a double booking, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's Samatta got on the score sheet though.
Samatta got on the score sheet. Jack Grealish actually played very well in this game. Yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt, if Villa get relegated, he's leaving. Like there's no shadow of a doubt.
I think he's leaving regardless. I think he's definitely going somewhere. Then again, though, now I'm not exactly sure where. I know Pep Guardiola came out recently and said he thinks Villa have one of the best talents in the league. So,
John McGinn.
Jeremy McGinn's class as well. But
honestly,
I don't see Grealish going to Man City. I mean, I don't. What I mean.
It'd be a waste of talent. It'd be a waste of talent.
Yeah, it'll be a shame. It'll be a shame because he's not going to be playing all the time. I mean, how are you going to justify not playing KDB?
Exactly. I mean, he does sometimes play on the left wing. But then you've got Leroy Sané there. Unless Leroy Sané just ship off to the Bundesliga.
He's going. I'm convinced he's gone.
I think he's going off to Germany because, I mean, he's just not Man City's player. No, he suits the Bundesliga style of play. He suits playing in Germany.
I think he's phenomenal. I think City are crazy to let him go, but at the same time, I do get it.
Yeah.
Another 10-man win with Everton, 3-2 against Watford.
Everton actually winning a game,
and again 2 goals from a defender. Yerry Mina scored 2 in the 45th, both in the 45th.
It was unbelievable.
What?
It was such a weird game that was. And then Walcott saving. To be fair, they went 2-0 down.
Yeah.
And then Mina was able to bring it up to 2-2, and then Theo Walcott in the dying minutes.
Imagine being 2-0 up and then having one of the Everton defenders scoring 2 goals in the same minute. Two goals in extra time.
Yeah. Of the first half.
Of the first half, and then at the very dying end of the game, Walcott scores.
Well, it was a corner, wasn't it? Both of them were corners. Yeah. Assisted by Gylfi Sigurdsson, I believe.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Like, it's phenomenal how, and then Moise Keane getting the assist for Theo Walcott's 94 minute.
I'm not being funny. Just to highlight, obviously Watford again, obviously a team very hit and miss, extremely hit and miss.
They're in a lot of struggle right now.
They are, but I mean, I'm looking at their team, and I quite like the attack in the midfield. I mean, Pereira, Decore, and Delafeu, whatever his name is. He's someone who could. All of those three could get saved. Chalobah, still there's potential there with Chalobah. Yeah. I think he's kind of found his level, but I feel like he's a Premier League player, and Capoue as well. Obviously, a player who's had plenty of experience in the Prem.
Troy Deeney, I think he's a bit past it. Ismaila Sarr,
he's looking good.
He is a very, very young, promising talent. I think he's a fantastic player, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I think he'll get picked up if Watford go down. Same with Isaac Success as well.
Yeah.
João Pedro. Delafeu is going to be another Jean Shaqiri. Someone's going to pick him up for about 15 million.
He's been such a journeyman. He's been everywhere.
He started not started, but he went to Barcelona.
He came right through Barca, didn't he?
Yeah, didn't quite make it in Barcelona, so made the move to the Premier League, and he just hasn't found his feet.
No,
it's
weird, isn't it?
He needs the players around him. I think he's one of those players that needs the players around him. But Watford's struggle continues, and until the players find form, they're not gonna make it at all.
Liverpool's 4-0 win against Southampton.
Dominance.
Again, moving forward.
Dominance.
Liverpool's second covered game we've covered in this little roundup. But
absolute beautiful.
Yeah, nothing really to say there. Again, just complete decimation.
It was a hat trick of assists for Roberto Firmino as well.
Yeah, he had a great game, didn't he?
All goals had assists, which was weird. So Oxlade-Chamberlain, Henderson, and Salah, all assisted by Firmino.
Yeah,
it was a masterclass by Liverpool. You can't put anything past it. Defensive qualities as well. What can you say about this Liverpool team other than they're just absolutely class?
Great, aren't they?
Southampton had way more shots and they couldn't put any in the net.
Yeah. Headlines at the moment around Liverpool. Van Dijk is getting a bit of speculation. Juventus apparently plotting a 150 million bid. I'm not even being funny.
They're not getting him.
No, I don't think they're going to get him either. But I'm not being funny. Again, if you want to sell him for that, I mean, I do understand it. I mean, you've just doubled your profit. And you can just, I don't know, take that money, go buy Koulibaly. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I mean, it's just crazy the kind of money which is being talked about from these Liverpool players. If Liverpool sold Mane, Salah, and Van Dijk, just those three,
that wouldn't even be enough to buy Mbappe.
500, 600 million for all three of them. I mean, 400 million. I'm not sure, but it's
a lot of money.
Crazy.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Especially what we paid for them as well.
Oh yeah, and slap Alisson in there as well as in the kind of form he's in.
Alisson, 100 million goalkeeper.
Slap Trent in there. You're looking at 50, a priceless 60, player right now.
Andrew Robertson probably around the same. Fabinho about 80 million. Naby Keita maybe about 40.
It's
quality
crazy,
players.
It's crazy.
Absolute quality. Speaking of quality players, on to Manchester United's draw against Wolverhampton. Bruno Fernandes' debut.
Yep,
actually showed a lot of promising.
He did. I mean, from the last podcast we did, we weren't sure whether it was pretty much looking like it was done, and now obviously we can confidently say he's there. He's had his first game.
He did grab a booking.
He did pick up a yellow. But I mean, the game itself was extremely frustrating because the same issues appear with Manchester United. It's this attacking prowess. Wolverhampton were most of the game they were poised like a coiled up spring, ready to kind of be released. Literally, they have all of their players back, perfect counter-attacking football like the Premier League expects. And then the second United slip up, bang, they're counter-attacking.
Yeah.
Adama Traore picked up a knock in this game. He went off the pitch. That was somebody who could have caused a lot more damage if he was on the pitch for the full game.
Luke Shaw would have got bodied. Absolutely. He was bodied anyway.
Yeah, it was. That was always going to be a tough game. I mean, a draw against Wolves. I mean, it never sounds the most thrilling, but I mean, nowadays everyone knows really what Wolverhampton are about. I mean, they know the kind of players they've got and the standard they've got. In that game, I mean, it was absolutely crazy. The amount of Portuguese players on that pitch in that game. Obviously, United started Fernandes and brought on Delo, and then obviously pretty much half of Wolverhampton's team is Portuguese. But, that's no one's
super
business.
agent. That's their super agent. So, it's phenomenal. I saw a thing at the end of the game. It was because Bruno Fernandes swapped shirts and wore the Wolves shirt.
Yeah. He's already left.
After one game, he's signed for Wolverhampton Wanderers because he's had enough of Manchester United.
I mean, it was frustrating. I mean, one thing I won't dwindle on this for too much longer, but Andres Pereira in that game, in my opinion, was diabolical.
He's a poor player.
Absolutely diabolical.
He's just a poor player.
I could not. I really struggle. I really struggle.
Yeah.
He was not good. Martial was pretty much non-existent in that game. He's in a bit of a poor stretch at the moment. We all know what he can do. It's just this consistency.
Everyone just needs to find their form. I think you just need that fire lit underneath to get that form.
Yeah. Obviously, we've got a break now, haven't we? We've got quite a big break until we get some more stuff going on. But so it'll be interesting to kind of just wait around for a bit.
Yeah.
We'll have a few games to predict, but then it's spread out a lot at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, back to Wolves for a sec. Like, Nuno's very tactical when it comes to Adama Traore.
Yeah.
Can I just add, like, with the last couple of games that they play Liverpool, and they specifically, like, Andrew Robertson's fast, but Trent is not as fast as Alexander Arnold. No.
Right, Trent's not as fast as Robertson, you mean?
That's yeah. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Sorry for my stumble. So he like purposefully put Adama on the wing with Trent, because he's not as fast. In this game, he put him on the wing with Luke Shaw because he's been targeted as not being as fit and fast as he used to be.
Yeah.
So he's very tactical when it comes to having this fast, bulky machine that is just a workhorse.
Yeah.
Nuno has figured out Adama Traore. I think he's unlocked the key to Adama Traore, and he is, without a shadow of a doubt, my favourite player to watch in the Premier League.
At the moment, your favourite player, would you
He's
say?
so fun to watch. Like, just to get the ball, dribble. The way he just shoves off defenders is brilliant. No matter to how much I play with him on FIFA as well. So I guess the next game we can talk about, Burnley Arsenal, fairly straightforward. Burnley play their game.
I watched this whole game and my God, Burnley. They should have slapped them. I mean, the stats don't do it justice. 2 shots on target, but 15 shots in the game. Arsenal had 13. I don't know. I don't really remember seeing Arsenal. Honestly, Burnley were far better. They had the less amount of possession as well, but honestly, Burnley were far better than Arsenal in that game. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe that they didn't pick up a goal. But poor from Arsenal once again. Poor, really poor.
I think Sean Dyche is the first manager to take points off Arsenal for Burnley since 2005.
What a weird start, really.
Yeah. In their head-to-heads, Arsenal have 10 wins, and before, because obviously this is their 12th played, they played 11 before. Only a previous manager had taken points off Arsenal in Burnley's tenure in the Premier League.
I think Arsenal they're going to have a really testing summer transfer window at the end of this season.
Oh by God, they need a centre back. They really do.
I think they've got situations they have to sort out as well, though. I mean, they've got Ozil. Apparently was granted a move on deadline day, but it didn't happen.
Was there any information about where
No, there was no club apparently like disclosed, but apparently he requested a move and Arsenal said yes, and there was an interested party, but it fell through.
I reckon it was China.
It's probably China, wasn't it? But I mean, Ozil is wanting out, and he should be leaving now. I think Xhaka needs to leave.
They just need to offload a load of players.
Aubameyang wants out.
Summer clearing. I think summer clearing.
But looking at that starting 11 there, those 3 players I mentioned all started in that game, and then it's just looking a bit dire. I mean, there were rumours that Ceballos wanted to cut his loan short. I mean, they had to recall Eddie Nketiah.
Yes,
it's
they brought in Cedric from Southampton, was it?
I'm not necessarily too mad about that. It's a loan, but I mean,
I spoke with an Arsenal fan outside of maybe a potential guest on the podcast.
Yeah.
I spoke to him about it, and he was like, Cedric is okay.
Yeah.
He's a good signing. It's a defensive bolster because that's what they need. They need defensive reinforcements, and that's what they don't have.
It's just it's all players. It's like, I get it, but it's like you're not spending that money, are you?
No, they need to spend money. They need to have a summer clearing. David Luiz needs to go. Mustafi needs to go. Socrates needs to go, and then they need to replace that with quality. Ozil, Ceballos, and Xhaka need to go and replace them with quality.
Aubameyang, obviously a player you want to keep, but if he doesn't want to be there, get him gone.
He's not going to perform if he doesn't want to be there. No. So get him gone. Martinelli and Lacazette and Pepe are more than fine in this Arsenal team. Martinelli is the future of this Arsenal team.
He's great. He's a great player. On to the final game and the best game of the weekend.
Oh, come on, you Spurs!
Tottenham's 2-0 win against Man City.
Oh.
And not just a great game for the scoreline, but it was so entertaining.
Yes,
it genuinely was. It was. I mean, Tottenham only averaging 3 shots and 3 on target in this game. 2 of them being goals.
That was phenomenal.
Manchester City, I feel like I cannot believe they didn't score. It was incredible.
That penalty save from Lloris was fantastic.
A great penalty save. But then afterwards there was the call straight after. Is that going to be a second penalty? Yeah. But then there was also, it didn't get brought up. Was he off his line? But he was miles off his line. Mm-hmm. He was really off his line, in my opinion. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, all in all, Tottenham deserved to win that game. A debut goal from Bergwijn, and then that's another player.
I'm on the Bergwijn hype train. I really am.
Since we've done the podcast last, Bergwijn has signed for Tottenham, and he scored a phenomenal goal.
I mean, I've been on the Bergwijn hype train for a while. He would be go-to career mode football manager, like right winger. He's got so much promising talent. He's what Pepe should be.
Yeah. Let's
be honest. He's what Pepe should be. He should be scoring goals. He should be assisting players. He's a remarkable talent, and Tottenham for unberthing him to the Premier League are great for that.
I feel like Son got the second goal. I didn't think Son had a particularly great game.
Yeah, he was quite missing for a lot of it, but then again he pulled a goal from somewhere. And Son is so deadly because he can shoot with either foot.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
With extremely valuable player to have at your club. Yeah. Something we will talk about a little bit more on a bit later. And the last thing to mention in this game, obviously, a 10-man Man City. Zinchenko goes off to second yellow.
Yes.
How did Sterling stay on the pitch?
Oh my God, that tackle! Oh,
it was awful, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't like.
Not only that, but then afterwards, obviously the dive.
Yeah,
he got booked.
He got booked in the 12th minute.
Yeah,
yeah.
Raheem Sterling staying on the pitch in that game, I thought was absolutely crazy.
I mean, you definitely don't like to see it at all. Like the referees, that is where VAR should step in. Like I know I said VAR should be less, but if it's something like that the referees are missing, then they should be shown it.
It took ages to give it took about 5 minutes for them to give the penalty.
Do you know what I think? Right, this I should have said this. I thought of this straight after the podcast last week. Right,
yeah.
The referees should have a phone in a pocket so they can whip it out, look at the VAR on their phone, live reaction, so they can decide with them, have a headset, and be like, yes,
no,
that is my call. That'd be fantastic.
All in all, in that game, City just struggling to find it. I thought a lot of City's play was well. I mean, it was a well played game of football, but they just couldn't do it that game. Just couldn't do it. I mean, I don't think necessarily Tottenham were world class in defending. I don't think they were necessarily world class in getting the ball moved around. It was just a good win for them.
That Tanganga was played pretty well.
Yeah, I mean he's starting to look quite good. I mean, obviously they're playing him out at fullback right now. I thought he was a centre back, but they're playing him out at fullback at the moment. I found it weird that Tottenham didn't have a left back possibly coming in January, considering they let Rose go out on loan.
I know.
And Davis is injured, isn't he?
Ben Davis, yeah, I believe.
And Carl Walker-Peters went out on loan to Southampton.
Yeah.
So I thought it was crazy.
Spurs have made some weird moves, but I mean, they just beat the defending champions.
They did.
So we can't actually put them at fault.
No, I can't criticise it.
I mean,
the debate was that a Jose Mourinho masterclass or was that a a lucky random scrape because Man City couldn't capitalise.
This is third season syndrome for Manchester City.
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola. That is all I'm saying.
At the end of the post-match press conference, journalist asked Pep, "Is that it now?" Yeah. And he said he nodded, and then he eventually said, "Yeah, they're unstoppable. Liverpool have got this one." So, admitting that now, I mean, it's pretty obvious it is happening, but it's really interesting. I feel like obviously this season's pretty much wrapped up. I mean, it's now to see who's making Champions League spots and stuff like that. Yep. But I'm really interested for this summer because there is going to be so much going on. Will Liverpool be able to keep this up? Because right now, best club in Europe.
Yeah, I don't like to make comments about it because I don't want to come across as that deluded Liverpool fan.
No. I feel like it's one thing discussing it openly. I feel like it's another thing like going absolutely crazy with it. But I feel like, but right now, I mean, it's undoubtable, surely.
Yeah, I mean.
Champions League winners, top of the Prem.
Since 2011, we ate doo-doo for so long. Yeah. We ate so much rubbish for so long, and to finally come into our own in about, 2014, and then to build on that team that Brendan Rodgers built, and Jurgen Klopp's basically just built this club from the ground up, and we are now a European powerhouse.
Yeah, you are.
Unstoppable. We are unstoppable. We could go... We could definitely go invincible. We could if we kept this up. However, it's we could or we do it, and I think the time will tell.
You've lost the game, haven't you? But outside the Prem, you have.
Outside the Premier League, have we?
Yeah, I feel like you've lost in the.
Well, I don't think we lost in the Champions League. I have no idea.
Obviously, the Premier League focus, but I'm certain you've lost outside of the Prem. I mean, obviously, going undefeated in the Prem is already an absolute marvel in its own right. But I mean, it's one of those things. The Invincibles title again. It's an amazing feat. I mean, obviously, there's been a couple draws here and there. United obviously taking points off Liverpool. United have still got to play Liverpool again coming up, which I'm really not looking forward to at all. But yeah. Right now, it's everything is kind of just looking up for them. I mean, we've said it so many times on the podcast.
Do we count the League Cup playing our children against Aston Villa?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we lost in the League Cup playing our kids.
It's I mean, again, you know, Klopp made a couple of headlines coming out and dismissing the domestic cups, didn't he?
I mean, if he's got a focus, then I think let him have his focus.
Yeah. If he's got a focus, I feel like it's maybe detrimental to criticise it, but I feel like if he's got his focus, then he's got his focus, hasn't he? But anyway, moving on. Those are your Premier League breakdown.
Yeah, we shall predict the next ones.
Yeah.
At the end of this episode. So make sure to keep up with our social medias on Instagram at Average Pundits, on Twitter at Pundits Average, and our email, theaveragepundits@outlook.com. So, shall we hit that favourite segment?
Yeah, let's do it, mate.
Choo choo! It's the high train.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I know.
But there we go. High train.
Taking it too far. Joe, you mentioned before the podcast that you had a few.
Yeah, I had a direct message, a nice little submission. Thank you very much. It was Mr. Stephen Bergwijn. Obviously, I feel this one's you've got to base a lot of this off from what you've seen outside of the Premier League, which is a bit more tough. But obviously, he's had one game in the Prem. In that game, I won't lie. I don't think he wasn't a standout for me. Obviously, the goal was brilliant.
Yeah.
In the sense of debuts over the weekend, you had Bergwijn and you had Fernandes. Bergwijn scoring a goal in absolutely phenomenal fashion, a great, well taken, great strike, and Bruno Fernandes putting in the kind of midfield performance which you would expect him to put in. He was kind of pulling him and Fred in that game for United. They were both shifting the gears, and it was a good free kick chance, and it was a couple more shots and everything. But out of those two most hyped debuts from the weekend, you probably put Bergwijn just ahead because of that goal. I mean, obviously, debut goal, you're gonna put it ahead. As a winger, he's a speedster. He can obviously get a goal in him. He had loads of assists for PSV.
He was phenomenal on the wing.
Yeah, I'm thinking he could be a really good player for them. He could be a really good player. I mean, he normally gets deployed on the right, doesn't he?
Yep.
Obviously, you've got Lucas Moura, who Lucas Moura is a right winger. He's not a centre forward.
Yeah, he's a centre forward.
No, he's not.
I play him centre forward.
No, we're not talking about that. He's a winger. He's a winger who's getting deployed in an interesting formation, and yeah, it's had its moments, but for me, he's still a winger. So I feel like this is going to be interesting because it's going to be competition for Moura. Because when Kane's fit and flying, obviously Kane's always going to be up front.
Yeah.
I think Son's more of a striker than Moura.
I guess. I think the way that Tottenham will play while Harry Kane is injured is that Son will be the central forward, obviously. Then you got Bergwijn on the right, and then Lucas on the left.
Nah, I see. I'm still thinking that they'll end up with Lucas up front and Son on the left.
Well, that's how they should play, anyways. Because Son can come in and shoot from either foot. Lucas isn't as good with his left foot than he's his right foot. Bergwijn is, I believe, left-footed. I think
he is.
So he can come in off the right and shoot with his left.
I mean, all in all, I mean, he's exactly the kind of player which people get excited about seeing in the Premier League. Exactly the kind of player.
He's fantastic. So. For those that haven't listened to a Hype Train segment before, the categories are simple. We get a player submission, we put them in a category that we think that they are at the moment, and maybe down the line we'll have a whole episode dedicated to rejigging the Hype Train at the end of the season. So, the categories are, the first carriage is poor, then we have average, prospect, star player, and then world class. Now, where do we think we're going to put Sergi? Is it Sergi or Steven?
Steven, innit?
Is it Steven?
Steven Bergwijn.
I've been going through his career thinking it's Sergi.
Who's Sergi?
Who's Sergi?
Serge Aurier?
Maybe. Maybe. I get names mixed up so badly.
But where to place him right now is really, really, really rough.
We got a very full prospect carriage.
Yeah, he's not a prospect. He's what, 25, isn't he?
Is he?
25, 26? I thought he was... I don't think he's the youngest player, so I don't think...
I thought he was like 23.
Either way, to me, that's still out of the realms of a young player.
Yeah, okay. I think maybe we go star at this point. Because he was fantastic for PSV.
All right, he's 22. He's 22 years old. That's I think most of the time prospect is up to 21 because that's, kind of where they normally go, in my opinion. He was definitely a star player at PSV. He was definitely
and he's come in on his first goal and scored on his first game and scored a goal. Like, I don't know where it's so hard to have him on after his first game. So,
but as a star player for Tottenham, I mean,
I don't see anyone else shifting goals other than Son.
Right at the moment, you think Son's with Kane
Son
injured.
With Kane injured, Son is the star of that team. Behind him is big Bergwijn. Because Dele Alli isn't anywhere near. Lucas Moura is not anywhere near. I don't know who else would be behind him. Christian Eriksen's gone. Who else have they got?
Is he the ace in the hole? Is he the surprise?
I think he is. So I think we might put him in star for now, and then obviously later on we can rejig.
You know what? No, you've convinced me.
Depending on how his season's gone, pretty much.
Yeah, you've convinced me. I mean, it's rough to put him in average. Obviously, these categories we've got right now, again, we it's tough to put them into these positions.
Yeah, maybe we'll pick up another carriage soon. Yeah. So, I think if the more that we have, like, it starts with them. But we can rejig it. We can see how players have performed at the start from the start of our hype train to the end of the season, and then just rejig it. This guy could be a world class player by the time.
He could be,
or he could just be a bang average. He could this could be the only goal he scores.
We'll see where we go.
Exactly. So for now, Bergwijn is in the hype train, and he's in the carriage of star player. If you do have any suggestions, please leave a comment down below, or maybe get in contact with us on our social medias or via email, and we can get your suggestions in the hype train to be studied. So, shall we get on to the main topic that I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, which is marketable footballers and footballing business?
I think this is a really interesting topic. I want just to clarify what we're talking about here. business in football. Football being used as a business again is a very controversial topic nowadays. But there are some players around Europe who have such a big kind of presence, such a big kind of feel around the fan base, around their own clubs, that they've kind of created an own kind of self-entity. Obviously, we are a Premier League-based podcast, so we're going to be focusing in depth on some of the talents we have in the Premier League. But there are a couple of points of references outside that league that we can compare them to. If you don't mind, Reese, to kick it off, I don't think there's any other place we can start other than CR7.
Absolutely. I mean,
CR7. I mean, obviously, we're talking outside the Premier League. Ex-Premier League player at Manchester United, but whilst he was at Real Madrid, he started to nurture his career in many ways. Apart from his talents on the pitch,
yep,
he's a businessman, isn't he?
He is.
He's a businessman.
He's an entrepreneur in his own right. He knows how to brand himself. He has a very big public image. I don't think anyone can fault that, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's one of the most well-known footballers in the world. He's had 2 statues made of him.
Yeah.
Like, he's Portugal's god at this point. In the Euros of, what was it, 2016?
Yeah.
He showed that. He was captain Portugal.
I mean, right now, Ronaldo, he's been part of plenty of marketing campaigns. He's never far off a deal. You know, it doesn't take much to come with the right offer to get him promoting your brand. You know, and this is all the kind of income which he's got coming in off the pitch. Aside from that, obviously CR7 clothing as well. He's got his own clothing brand.
Yes,
and again, this is something we're going to be talking about as well, and the value of having him at your club. Instantly, you bring someone like him to your club, your shirt sales go absolutely through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
The Ronaldo posters, the Ronaldo calendars, the Ronaldo merch, all throughout your club shop, it's going to be him. The man's what, 34, 35?
I think he's going on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's in his like early mid-30s.
Yeah, he's mid-30s now, and yet he's still arguably, depending on who you are, some people say he is the best player on the planet.
I mean,
that's a debate in its own right.
It's very subjective.
That is extremely subjective, but you call him the best goal scorer, you call him one of the best players of all time, without a doubt. But,
100%, yeah.
But I mean, apart from how he's marked himself in his own right, I mean, he's probably the most famous example right now, I can say. You've got Messi as well, who Messi brings in a lot of revenue through Adidas.
Yes.
Obviously, Ronaldo brings a lot of stuff through Nike, but he operates on his own name as well.
Yeah. I mean, like I certainly, when I was growing up, I had a pair of Messi boots.
Yeah.
Adidas Messi boots, and you always thought you could curl it into the top corner, but it'd end up hitting the old lady clearing up the bins. But yeah, Messi's, without a shadow of a doubt, he is the Argentinian hero. He has been the first Argentinian hero since Diego Maradona.
Yeah.
And like, we have the branding exposure now that maybe Diego Maradona obviously wouldn't have had.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't really do much in his own right with his scandals and his crazy antics off the field. Whereas Lionel Messi's quite to himself. He's a very family-orientated man, but he also knows how to brand himself, which is a very, like, that's the difference between the old footballers and the footballers of today with Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. They know how to be professional, and they're very business savvy. Cristiano Ronaldo especially, but Lionel Messi's very to himself, and he knows how to make, you know, I mean, he's done stuff with Pepsi, and he's done things with many different brands that are very big. Like, putting Messi with a brand makes that brand bigger. It's like Ronaldo. Putting Ronaldo with a brand makes that
100%.
The stocks rise.
Going abroad, obviously in Portugal, a lot of other locations as well. These footballers will obviously, you have the deals that you know about, and then you have the deals elsewhere, being outside of the UK. Billboards with these people promoting drinks, with them promoting phone companies. You know, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, 2 other players outside the Premier League, before we go on to our Premier League main examples to discuss, obviously both at the same club currently, Neymar and Mbappe.
Yeah.
These two, Neymar 27 years old, Mbappe 21. I mean, we forget how young Neymar still is. I mean, he's still 27, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Neymar
controversial, but a phenomenal player.
I believe that currently Neymar's one of the most branded footballers in the world.
100%.
He has 35 endorsements, which include Nike, Beats by Dre, the Qatar National Bank, and Red Bull.
Crazy.
Those are 4. Especially the Qatar's National Bank.
Yeah.
That is insane.
And with his Red Bull stuff, he does he does his like five-a-side panel tournaments.
Yeah, he does.
Where you know they get all the clubs going in to compete in his little kind of street football league. Mbappe as well. I mean, Mbappe being so young,
he's got a huge sponsorship with Nike. I mean, we talk about PSG as well. Like,
yeah,
they've got the whole deal with Jordan.
Yeah, which
as
again was something absolutely crazy.
I mean, that's still with Nike, but like they wear Jordan like all over the place.
Yeah.
So
headlines at the moment, it's still a lot of stuff right now. I mean, he made controversy the other day, Kylian Mbappe, for his touchline antics with Tuchel. There was some kind of spat.
He just didn't want to be taken off.
No, exactly. Yeah, and it didn't look the best. But the headlines right now are still linking him to Liverpool, aren't they?
Yep. What a market play that would be for us.
Oh, 100%. I mean, again, shirt sales through the roof. You've got arguably the biggest one. Again, arguably it's subjective. The biggest football name on the planet at the time. It depends what you think.
Yeah. I mean, right now the talk of football is Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah.
You cannot you don't go anywhere without. At the minute, it's Kylian Mbappe. It'll be your obvious Ronaldo, your Messi, and your Neymar. Yeah. But then, other than that, it's Kylian Mbappe, and Erling Haaland.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are the two at the minute, and João Felix at Atletico.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, again, there's a lot of these big names coming. So obviously, what an acquisition for the Premier League that would be. But drifting on to the Premier League, we are talking about some of the most marketable players in the league right now. I think there's only one person at the forefront of this. There's only one person in the Premier League right now who has, in my opinion, some of the most kind of marketable qualities. I'm not saying it's necessarily for the best or the worst. Do you think you know I'm on the same page with?
Yes, I do. I thought you were going down another alley, and I was about to rant, but I can save my Man United hated fueled rant for a while because I know you're going to say he's a very likeable player. Yeah, very likeable player.
It's Pogba, isn't it?
Oh.
You're not saying Pogba?
Oh, I thought you were going to go down the Asian route, but yeah, I mean, Paul Pogba's very marketable.
Paul Pogba is massively marketable. He's been,
yeah, he is. But that's all he is.
yeah.
That's all he is to Manchester United.
He's a walking billboard, isn't he?
He is.
But then again, though, the acquisition of Paul Pogba back in I think it was 2016. Now we got him back 2016, 2017. You bring him in. The story's fabled, isn't it? He leaves the club, goes to Juventus, makes a huge name for himself, gets bought back on a massive deal. Everyone's thrilled to see him. He's at the height of his career. Obviously, he comes into a United team which is just subpar, and then you kind of miss out on the amazing football which Pogba is. I mean, he hasn't played football properly for a long time. He's been so hit and miss. So I definitely think he's on his way out in the summer. But, I mean, when he's gone, whoever he signs for or re-signs for, potentially if it's Juventus...
There's going to be a lot of marketing behind it.
It's going to be a lot.
To say the least. Like, when it comes to being Paul Pogba, I can't see past the smoke and mirrors of just him being a flashy haircut and bringing in shirt sales. He's a quality player, but he does bring a lot more than that. Like, he will sell T-shirts of his haircut on a T-shirt.
Yeah, and it's absolutely crazy. I mean, certain players you bring in, and their qualities are merch. It's merch in their own right, isn't it? I feel like at the moment, again, there's two more people which I would say are arguably the most valuable players to have in the Premier League. Pogba, I would say, is in number 3.
Yeah,
I'd say he's number 3. The top 2, in my opinion, it's really a matter of debate. You've got, in my opinion, Mohamed Salah, or Heung-min Son.
Yeah, I agree with both of those. They are I think they are the two most likeable players in the Premier League. I'd say Son above Salah.
We got Kante up there as well. Kante's lovable.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Kante. But Kante's too shy.
I would put Kante above Salah in that regard.
What of likeable players?
Yes, because I get very frustrated with Salah because he's very selfish.
Yeah.
Let's start with Heung-min Son. He's such a nice man.
Yeah. It was obviously I'm a United fan, but I unfortunately don't get to many games due to student life, working.
Honestly, student loans aren't enough.
It sucks, but as a student, you do what you can to get in just as much football as you can. But very, very fortunately, last year I managed to get to a Champions League game. I managed to go watch Tottenham play Dortmund at Wembley. It was a really good game to go see. Great atmosphere. It was a Tottenham 3-0 win. But what I was fascinated about was when I got there was how pushed Son was in the team. There were plenty of tourists there. There were plenty of Asian tourists which have come to go watch a bit of football in London. You know, you come to London and watch a football game. But I went into the club shop with the people I was there with, and every single shirt is Son. It's Son everywhere. I was thinking, like, where's the Harry Winks shirts? You know, like, come on, like, where's the
who cares about Harry Winks?
Where's the Wanyama shirts? But it was just Son everywhere. So I mean,
it's like you go into the Tottenham shop.
Yeah.
You see Son, Kane, Dele Alli, and now Bergwijn. That's all you see.
But I mean,
that will be all you see.
But honestly, like, there was the amount of Asian fans there. A lot of fans coming out from South Korea. It was absolutely phenomenal. The support that this man has. You bring him to your club. Obviously, he owes it to himself. He's projected himself to the forefront. Was he the best Asian player on the planet? Best player coming out of Asia?
You'd probably say best Asian player at the moment.
Or the most prominent.
100%. Like,
I mean, definitely South Korea's best player since Ji-sung Park. 100%.
He's miles better than Ji-sung Park ever was. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm saying he gets a lot of goals, but I mean, Ji-sung Park. I mean,
in ways
of credit.
In ways of trophies, Ji-sung Park, you know,
he's the boy.
He had a lot. The boy.
He's the boy.
He had a lot of trophies.
But there you go. South Korea's best player since him. I mean, and since the most marketable player.
South Korea's best ever player, I would say.
And then aside from obviously, I've seen plenty of advertisements online. There was like Son promoting ice creams. There was Son promoting. Obviously, he's promoting a lot of stuff at Tottenham and everything. The ice cream advert is really funny. If you haven't seen it, I'm not sure the name of it. If you type in Son ice cream advert, he's doing a little dance. He's loving it. he's just loving it. He just seems like such a happy guy.
I think he is. It was so heartbreaking to see him see that challenge that he did and. Get sent off. He was in tears. He was in bits. It was hard to see. So
it was hard to see. It happens to the best of them.
Leaves are cool.
He's a good player.
Yeah.
And then the other argument is Salah, in my opinion, for the most marketable, most beneficial football to have. Pogba, Salah, and Son. I feel like shirt sales. I think they must be. It must be mental.
I mean, you got Salah who brings the entire country of Egypt.
Oh yeah, I think Salah's unlocked North Africa. Really, I mean, I've been to Egypt and a couple of other areas of North Africa, and I think it might have been Vodafone or another big phone brand over there, or AT&T or something, like a big phone brand in North Africa. Massive billboards of him on. He's just everywhere. He's on the side of drinks. He was on the side of Pepsi. he's absolutely everywhere. But I mean, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, I feel like it's the stories behind it. It's awesome. It's a player from. I mean, Europe is probably the home of the most prominent football.
Yeah.
Well, it is undoubtedly. South America historically have had lots of amazing footballers come from there.
Yeah.
Portugal, Italy, England have had good footballers.
Yeah.
You don't really hear too many success stories coming out of Egypt, for example, South Korea, or you know what I mean. It's these different countries. Yeah. So it's amazing when someone projects themselves to that level. I mean, and Salah had such a meteoric rise.
Yeah.
And so has Son. I mean, it is really good to see.
I mean, you could put Mane in that bracket as well, bringing the whole country of Senegal.
You could do, but I personally then feel like part of you need to have it to an. I'm not saying that these players necessarily have it at the forefront, but you have to be a very certain type of player to be like this marketable.
Yeah,
don't you?
I do get that.
Pogba's. I'll use the word arrogance. I don't mean it in a bad way, but I mean he's very, very forefront. He wants these deals. Ronaldo, pretty arrogant, and wants these deals. Very boisterous, wants to get to the front. Neymar, 100%. These kind of people. And I don't think Salah and Son are in that category. I think they're a lot more humble.
Yeah, they 100%. I would strike them as what I said earlier. With Messi, he's very to himself. He'll promote what he wants to promote, and be that hero that his country wants him to be.
Yeah, 100%.
With being the quality player that he is.
I think right now, again, Liverpool have done something very interesting by signing Minamino. He's someone that I wanted to bring up. I had it this at the start of the podcast in my head. There's something a point I wanted to bring up. You've just signed an extremely promising young player from Japan.
Yes.
right now, how many Japanese players can you name that are at the forefront of world football? Not many.
No.
Shinji
Kagawa used to be decent.
Kagawa was there.
Yoshida obviously used to be a very young, promising player. Now he's just really poor.
You have historic players like Nakamura and players like this.
Why can't Nagata? He used to play for Bolton.
There are obviously some big names in the past, but right now, this Minamino guy, he's been signed to, again, as we mentioned earlier, probably the best club in Europe at the moment.
Yeah.
He's got amazing players around him to help nurture this potential really good groundbreaking talent.
Absolutely.
It'll be really interesting to see where this ends up, because he could be phenomenal, couldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I always talk about Jordan Henderson. Obviously, he may not display his quality on the pitch, but then you've got his quality in being a leader, and to have a manager like Jurgen Klopp and a leader in the dressing room like Jordan Henderson to guide you as you come into this place you've never been before. Like you come into a team and a country that you don't know at all.
Yeah.
Like he coming from Japan, well, not coming from Japan, but being Japanese, not really investing in the English culture as of yet. So having those two role models, so to speak, like it's quite. I think he'll get nurtured very well into the team and feel very welcome. I think that's the vibe I get from Jurgen, and he sort of treats the players like his kids. And then Jordan Henderson's like the oldest brother that sort of helps all the younger brothers come in.
Well, I feel like that Minamino guy, like I said, it has a lot of potential to become a very big cash cow for Liverpool. I feel like another funny one to talk about. I say funny. You got Jay Lings, haven't you?
Can I rant about Jesse Lingard for a bit?
You I'll give you a little bit of ranting time.
Right, so Jesse Lingard is the oldest person I've ever seen. He is a 28-year-old with the mind of a 16-year-old. Let's be honest. He has started this brand that looks exactly like JD Sports. It was probably sold in JD Sports, and it's now losing money because no one cares about Jesse Lingard.
I do think his it's a strange, marketing thing. But he's got a brand like J-Lings. He sells J-Lings clothing. He sells that Be Yourself stuff as well. I'm looking at it. It's not bad clothing. I mean, it's fine. It's just
Jesse Lingard thinks he's the flyest guy in the Premier League. He's like, oh, J-Lings, yeah. No, shut up. Like, you are the most clapped player in the Premier League.
Most clapped player.
Your football talents, you've only just scored your first goal and it was against a League 2 club. Like, get in the bin. Alisson has more assists in the Premier League this season than you. Like, he cannot run a sales company based on having one goal in the FA Cup.
A man who loves Lingard.
Oh, if we had like a room 101 of football, Jesse Lingard goes in there straight away. Honestly, I reckon, right?
That's a good podcast topic. You just said it there. Room
Exactly.
101 with football.
Room 101, right? I think you would be very glad if Jesse Lingard left Manchester United. Actually, no. I would say you wouldn't even care if Jesse Lingard left Manchester United because his quality is that bad. You now have Bruno Fernandes and Fred, who's coming into his own. You have two players, and maybe if Pogba comes back and starts playing well, Pogba, Bruno Fernandes and Fred, you don't need Jesse Lingard anymore.
Pogba, Bruno Fernandes and Fred, is with the way that those two are playing at the moment, and with Pogba coming back if he's fit, that's my dream.
Yeah.
Reece. That's what
exactly.
I want.
Like,
but
Jesse Lingard.
I 100% agree. Lingard has no... Lingard and Pereira are two players that need to move on.
Jesse Lingard, right? He is his clothing brand at the minute, while he's playing like absolute dog do, right? Is like Joleon Lescott sending out a picture of his car after a 4-0 defeat at Liverpool.
Yeah, I remember that.
This is just gloating and selling really, really bad cream hoodies for £45 with his stupid logo on it.
Well, I'll tell you what, on the flip side of that, I mean, two players which have the last two ones, there's a couple more points to talk about, but a couple other players with brands. Rio Ferdinand's got 5. Five again I feel like he does a lot of really interesting stuff with 5. He puts some good stuff on YouTube. He's had some like good like interviews and stuff, and with his magazine and everything. And he sells a few different pieces of clothing as well. But you got Ferdinand with 5. That's just a good thing to point out with footballers with brands.
I think he had a deal with Sports Direct with that, didn't he?
I think he did, yeah. And then also you've got arguably, historically, one of the most marketable players of all time, David Beckham.
Yes.
David Beckham the second he was doing it whilst he was still playing, but this man has clothing, he has fragrances. This man is starting his own football club.
I've had many Christmas presents of David Beckham cologne.
Everyone's had the David Beckham like shower gel.
Yeah, exactly. I've washed my hair like David Beckham does with his own products.
There we go. I mean, again, another massive.
David Beckham. I mean, he's been tipped to play bloody James Bond.
That's ridiculous.
He has had bets placed on him to be James Bond. Now that, to me, is...
He hasn't got the accent for it.
He does.
He's got too high-pitched voice.
All right, Q, how you doing?
Yeah, literally. I'll be horrendous.
Can we, after that, highlight the smartest man in football?
The smartest man.
Can we highlight the co-founder of GF Biochemicals in Italy?
Yeah, let's highlight him.
Matthew Flamini.
Make him known.
The smartest man in football today. While he was still playing, he went to AC Milan in 2008 to 2009, in the 2008 to 2009 season, right?
Yeah. We found a stat online. Again, I'm not sure how much legs this is behind. It was reported by ArsenalDailyNews.com.
His net worth's £14 billion.
It's crazy. Obviously, we don't know if that's the full legit stat or not. But based on what we found, that's a number which has been put in the ether. £14 billion.
Okay, that's a bit less, but still, that's insane. Like, okay. Right, so GF Biochemicals is a company that extracts levulinic,
I think it is,
chemical acid from plants as a replacement for petrol and diesel. Right? How insane! This is a football player that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Like, he's founded this company. He's obviously put money into it.
I always knew he had this venture outside, but I didn't realise kind of like the extent of it. I knew it was something scientific.
How much money he was making,
yeah,
for sure. Like, he's a global powerhouse now.
He's the Don.
He is making so much money, and it's amazing. Like, his vision, like, they want to be a leader in biochemicals and the future of car, like, you know, making how cars run.
It's crazy, isn't it?
On levulinic acid. So,
I mean, it's just a nice little point to highlight at the end. I mean, if you've got any opinions on any of these marketable footballers, please do get in contact with us. We've got the Instagram, we've got the Facebook, we've got the Twitter, we've got the YouTube comments, we've got our emails. You can
subscribe.
DM us.
You please rant about Jesse Lingard with me. I really want someone to rant with about Jesse Lingard.
I mean, to wrap this up this week, there's actually, I think it's best if we do it. There's only 4 actual games to predict at the moment because the week's split up. So we will have a podcast coming out in the midst of this, but right now on Saturday the 8th and Sunday the 9th, you have 4 games being played because it's spread out a little bit more now. There are 4 games to predict. Like I said, the rest of them we will get back to you with the next podcast. But Reese, Everton, Crystal Palace.
I feel like Everton and Palace both coming. Everton coming off a win, Palace coming off a loss. You know where the momentum's lying. I think Everton might have a slight advantage. However, I do believe that it's going to be a 1-1.
I'm putting 2 on Everton down. I want a bit of faith in Everton. Obviously, they're going to be Delphless.
That's true.
But I reckon 2 on Everton. They're going to come back from this.
I do think that Everton are starting to find their feet under Ancelotti. It'll only be we'll see in enough time, I guess.
What do you feel about Brighton Watford?
I think Brighton have a very strong squad compared to Watford. As we said earlier, Watford do have a strong side. They just don't work together. They got Delafeu, Ismail Assar, who can score goals. So I think that Sheffield United have got this. I think it's
Sheffield.
Not Sheffield. That's the next game.
Watford Brighton.
Well, in that case, I think it's going to be another draw, 1-1.
I'm gonna put Brighton down for a 2-0.
2-0 Brighton.
I don't think Watford have got the legs. I reckon Brighton are gonna do it.
Right, now on to the next game. Sheffield United. I think I was getting a bit too ahead of myself. Sheffield United against Bournemouth.
That's gonna be a good game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about this one. I reckon it's gonna be 0-0.
Yeah.
I don't think I think they're gonna counteract each other.
I think that's a fair assumption, to be fair. I think that it's going to be 1-0 to Sheffield United because of reasons I don't know. I think it's just going to be a McBurney finish. That's it.
What about Man City West Ham? The final one we're going to predict. That's going to be ugly, isn't it?
It's going to be 3-0 to Man City.
I'm going to put 5-0.
5.
I reckon Moyes' head's going to be rolling.
Oh, in the words of Biggie Langston, 3 ain't enough, man. I need 5. Shucky ducky, quack quack.
I have no idea what you just said, but
well, it doesn't matter. The context doesn't matter.
5-0. There we go.
5-0. So, if you enjoyed today's podcast, please make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share with your fish or your friends. It doesn't matter which one. Follow us on Instagram at Average Pundits, on Twitter at PunditsAverage, and our email if you would like to get in with any business inquiries at theaveragepundits@outlook.com. Now, Joe, thank you for joining me today,
as
always,
much, yeah, it's been a
for
pleasure.
episode 17. We look forward to next week's episode 18. Thank you very much for listening, and we are signing off. For now, goodbye.